Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about 5 tips for beginner open water swimmers. So first up, get to know the location. You need to know which way around you're going to swim around the buoys, where the buoys are, if there's big laps, small laps, any obstacles in the water like islands or weeds. Get to know where the spotters are. If you don't know these things already, then when you get there, talk to a member of staff or read any signs that might be available. It's going to be really important to learn all these things to ensure your safety. They're the very basics of open water swimming. Without them, then if you get into trouble, you might not know what to do. In number 2, we've got cold shock. Now this is really important because it can be quite dangerous. It's your body's natural response to going into cold water. So it's basically going to give you a shortness of breath and a bit of confusion, maybe a bit of panic. So if you can avoid jumping in and fully submerging, then try and go in nice and slowly, 1 foot at a time, going up your body slowly, and that's going to help with the cold shock. Make sure you're doing nice and steady breathing throughout. If you just jump in and it's your first time, it's really likely you're going to go into a state of panic and you might get yourself into some trouble. Ways to get around cold shock is before you go in, obviously mentally prepare yourself, nice long breaths, deep in and out, and then try and keep that breathing going as you go into the water. It is going to be cold, of course, it's open water. If you're particularly nervous, then going with a friend is going to help you because it's a bit of comfort and it's going to help with that panic. At number 3, we've got sighting. If you don't know what this is, I'll explain it quickly. So you're swimming along, and as you take your stroke, you lift your head out the water so you can see where the buoy is. Unlike pool swimming, open water is almost always quite cloudy unless you're in like tropicals and you're in the sea or a really nice lake. Almost all the time you won't be able to see when your head's in the water. Now of course that's a problem because it's going to stop you or make it hard to swim straight. When you're in a pool you can just follow the lines, but as soon as you can't see where you're going, then you'll very often have a dominant side and you'll start zigzagging. So sighting is a really important skill. If you can practice it in the pool beforehand, even better. Ideally, when you're first open water swimming, you're not sighting because it's going to be quite tricky unless you're a strong swimmer. So what I recommend doing, so you don't get disorientated, is you just stop swimming where you are. Make sure there's no one behind you, of course, so you don't crash. Have a look around, spot the buoy, and then swim towards that. 10 strokes, say, come up, have a look around, spot the buoy. If you are a strong swimmer, then obviously you can sight properly. But if you're not, then give that a go instead. In number 4, very important, warm clothes for afterwards. So I have a dry bag and I make sure that when I go in the water, I've got my dry robe on the top, which I can just bang on. If you don't have that, make sure your towel's on top with the jumpers, say, and then you can get warm straight away because hypothermia is a very real risk. If you don't have the extreme of hypothermia, just getting cold can be bad for you. You know, you can catch colds or illnesses just from being exposed to the cold for quite a long time. So make sure you've got some really warm stuff for afterwards, or you're jumping straight into your car with the heating on or something like that. There's absolutely nothing worse than taking your wetsuit off with just a towel on in the freezing cold air temperature, and then it just ruins the whole experience. So make sure you're prepared. Ideally, a dry robe, that's going to be your best option. If you're not sure what a dry robe is, it's basically like a really big dressing gown with a hood. It means you can get changed and obviously no one can see you, so you don't have to hold a towel up. It's also insulated and wind resistant, so it's just going to keep you that bit extra warm, make your life a whole lot easier getting changed before and after the session. So in at number 5, one of the most important ones is to stay calm. You're going to be okay. If something goes wrong, the usual procedure is to roll on your back and wave your arm in the air, but double check that with wherever you're swimming to make sure you know what the safety protocol is. As long as you're doing that, a kayaker or a boat is going to come over to you, someone will spot you. There are loads of safety regulations. I know I've been to open water, I've done managing at open water. There's so many things to follow, but you will be spotted and you will be okay. So like I say, make sure you're taking those nice deep breaths. If you are disorientated at all, just stop, have a look around, wave a kayak over, whatever you need to do, and it will be okay. So hopefully these tips have not put you off swimming open water because it's an absolutely fantastic sport. I really thoroughly enjoy it. It's much better than pool swimming in my opinion. Much more fun, get outdoors, swimming in natural water instead of chlorinated water, and it's more sociable. You can do it with your friends. So if you haven't already, then get to an open water swim. Use these tips. If you use these tips, then you'll be absolutely fine, I can guarantee you. And like I say, if you've got a friend to go along with, maybe more experience is even better, then go along with them and you'll have a great time. If you have enjoyed this video, then press that like button, press subscribe for content just like this. If you have a question, then leave it down below in the comments section, and I'll see you very soon in the next video.